Welcome to 5 Stripe Weekly, another trophy for the cabinet. I don't know, man. Maybe we are spoiled. With a big 6-pointer coming up on Saturday in Philly, we discuss all that and more next.
Welcome to the show, 5 Stripe fam. I'm AJ, this is Mark. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube or hop over from Facebook and subscribe. Atlanta United are undefeated in Cup finals, and may that continue as long as possible. But let's get into how the final was won. And yeah, I mean, I think it started off pretty sharp. We were pretty intense in our press. We were getting forward a lot as well. Created a lot of good chances.
Yeah.
Just really bright. And I think evidence when we had them pretty pinned back for a good amount of time. And I think it started with Minnesota United's kind of unwillingness to kind of come out. They kind of, in terms of their lineup, they almost played scared a little bit.
A little, yeah, because some of the players that Adrian Heath benched, most notably Darwin Quintero, which, I mean, yes, he's been in and out of the lineup because of his defensive work rate.
Sure.
But that goes to show you, I think, what Heath and, Minnesota United's, I guess, setup or initial setup was, which was to be compact, bunker, try to defend, and
it was, I think it worked completely against them.
Yeah.
It was evidenced in LGP making a dangerous run forward.
Yeah.
PT finding him with that threaded pass.
Beautiful pass.
And LGP, he just puts it into the mixer, and it's really, it's a cross that gets blocked a little bit.
Yeah.
Goes over Vito Manone's head or his outstretched arm, and it just is an own goal.
Yeah.
But
was that a flashback for you, a Vito Manone blooper?
Yeah. This is the second time you mentioned Manone in as many days. But I'm done with Vito Manone. Like he's not an Arsenal player, and he's a Minnesota United player, and thank God, because he made that really just egregious error. I think, in my opinion, he probably should have gotten it.
He's a little flat-footed on it. He should have shuffled his feet, I think, and tip it over.
Right. But I mean, he got caught off guard because the blocked cross. But
it's
LGP,
either way. LGP getting forward, and just the play in general. That little triangle that they were forming on the right with Gressel and Petey, and it was nice. And it was effective. And
exactly.
And then the so the attacks coming down the wing.
Right, and kudos to him for finding that. Yeah, he probably was the extra man in this attack at this moment.
Right.
So I'm going to go forward, and I'm going to, try to make something happen in the box.
And he's trying to pick out two players who are making a run, Joseph and I think Barco probably. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's doing the right thing, and you create your own luck.
Yeah, I mean, he does take these risks all the time, and that's just kind of part of the, LGP thing.
Yeah, but I think it also shows you the potential of the system, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And,
there's an extra man at some point.
Exactly.
Even when you're playing 11v11, it's amazing in that sense.
Right.
And then shortly after, we're still in a very attacking and dangerous run of play. Yeah, Justin Meram, he just shoots in across that PT blasts in from in the 6 yard box, and I mean, he puts it aplomb. It is just, I mean...
Where I was sitting, right, it was kind of behind Meram as he's setting the guy up. And I was just like, please go left, please go left. And he does. He's just set him up so well.
Oh, yeah.
And then the way PD runs onto that, you should go back and watch it because he times his run so well. Ball's, slightly behind him.
Yeah, to one-time it?
Yeah, to one-time it, really compose himself and, put it right over Manone's head, really.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was fantastic play all around. And, seeing these kind of goals out of the system, not just this match, but in previous weeks, that's really the bread and butter. That's what we want to see. That's what we expect.
Right.
And so,
exactly. Yeah. It's it's crosses from, it could be just dynamic, I think. It could be a cross in the air, it could be a cross on the ground, it could be cross to the chest, but it allows them to get that time because basically our wing backs have that width anytime we need it. And if we need to switch play at any point, they're there, and that's the beautiful part. I think unfortunate part is fatigue rearing its ugly head.
Sure.
And that's where, I mean, we maybe took the pedal off the gas a little bit, kind of forced in that sense.
And a switch of mentality from Minnesota, I think, too. They were definitely more aggressive in the second half. And I think how they started the second half is really probably how they should have started the match. But,
Probably.
It is what it is. Hindsight's 2020. But they certainly were the better team in the second half. And Atlanta United had to dig deep, especially when we went to 10 men.
Yeah. But I think before that, I mean, they definitely had their chances in the first half. I think, there was a header that
off a set piece.
That went over the crossbar. I mean, we arguably could have been a little bit more clinical as well.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it is that fatigue that reared its head.
Yeah.
But all the while, though, I think Nagbe and Remedi, they were just peerless in the middle there. I think they drew 5 fouls, only committed 1 foul.
Right.
They just kept that engine running, and that's just what you want to see from them after kind of Friday, where it was a little bit lackluster. But just because I think also again the humidity, and, you have the heat, and also just the short rest again. But, But they were so good at recycling possession and just
protecting the back line.
Exactly. And so before it kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Slightly.
Yeah. Before LGP got the 2 yellows in pretty quick succession. I mean, it was just very tough. I mean, but like LGP for you. Was that first yellow a yellow for you?
Absolutely not. I mean, like, it wasn't even a foul on him. He's getting dragged down. He played through. Like, he got knocked down twice, fouled at least once, in my opinion, and then dragged back. And then he gets called for diving being on top of the ball.
Exactly. The ref went like this, which usually means diving, and so it's just very interesting that he
ridiculous
did that.
Refereeing.
So Alan Chapman. I mean, it's just the refereeing was atrocious, obviously.
Right.
But
The second yellow, I can't really argue that. The moment I saw him reach out and grab, I was like, oh no, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right. And so maybe
that is kind of unfortunately what we've come to know from LGP in terms of his play.
And I really don't want to kill him for that, because like he was having a really good game. Like
he was,
especially like creating that goal, but also like defending. You know, like
he was holding off that player, and then he gets that yellow. I think most people. That's the thing. In that preview before this 5 Straight Weekly, I pretty much mentioned that there is a chance that we might go down a man, because for some reason this fixture we go down a man. I mean, it's just one of those crazy things. And it's the same person. LGP goes and gets sent off, and it's also I mean, I'm not gonna toot my horn, but I'm gonna toot my horn. It was 2-1 that I predicted. So there's some predictive powers here. But,
this is why you watch this podcast.
This is why you watch. But essentially though, the team had to dig deep. 16 minutes, in a cup final, that's really tough. And it was just a barrage after that. I mean, just brutal. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it was a 19 shot type of match for Minnesota United to our only 9. But this, I think, is the tail of the tape. Is that on target? For us, we had 6 shots on target, and they only had 4 shots on target. Of their 19.
Right, exactly. One of their shots off target was that one with 2 minutes to go. Boxhall, I think, he has a shot from 6 yards. I mean, it comes onto his foot quickly, but still. I mean, the reaction after he missed says it all, really.
They were a little unlucky, I think, but it was also, I mean, we had to be resolute. We had to do everything. All the shithousery possible.
Oh, yes. Love. So shout out to Guzan for, the saves and the game management. I mean, like, moving the ball, getting the ball that's further away from you. Love it. Love it when it's from my team.
I mean, and that's how you see out a match in a cup final to begin with. If you're up and it looks like you're not going to be able to move forward at all, which was the case.
It was I mean, like the board said it, you could see it. It was a 5-3-1. Like Joseph's up there by himself, and especially with Escobar coming in for PT and Larry coming in for Gressel.
Yeah, Larry coming in for Gressel.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, and so like that's those are defensive subs. Those are.
And Joseph also helps out on corners and free kicks as well. So there's not really an outlet. We pretty much had to kick it long and just. You
don't normally see us play like that. We're not normally in that situation, but sometimes it calls for it, and they pulled it off.
I think the dark arts was beautiful. I mean, basically every person on the pitch knew what the mission at hand was to survive, and that they did. I mean, I think plaudits really have to go all around. Like we said, the game management from the players. Yeah. Also from Frank de Boer, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, I think Devin mentioned that, it was a perplexing sub to bring in, Emerson Hyndman for Ezequiel Barco. But I think at that point, you couldn't have predicted LGP would have gotten.
That's for one, right.
Gotten the 2 yellows. And then so on top of that, if you needed height, yes, Emerson Hyndman is a guy that has a little bit at least over Barco, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, yes, he maybe didn't have as much to do, but I think at that sense and at that point, what else can he do? He's not going to, link up and combine with players that aren't going to move up the pitch.
Yeah.
Right. So
exactly. I mean, going back to that moment, like what you have at the time, like you said, we don't know that we're going to go down to 10 men. As I mentioned last night, I don't think Barco had his best game. I mean, he was okay, but I think you bring in Hyndman for a little more midfield control because, I mean, look, but even before the red card, Minnesota were on top in that second half. So, maybe the thinking is, okay, you bring in Hyndman, you control play a little more.
Yeah, it's also a guy that probably has a little bit more defensive ability than Ezequiel Barco.
Right.
And so,
I think maybe Barco's fatigued at that point too. I mean,
he's kind of on he's trying to be, in terms of match fitness, he's not exactly quite there. He's almost there, but I think it was a right move there.
I think so.
And seeing Franco Escobar get some minutes as well, really good. It looked like he had to ice his hammy a little bit afterwards, but it is what it is. Hopefully that's the extent of it. He's just trying to get ready for the next match.
Chief precautionary. Yeah.
But I think another positive is that Julian Gressel did come off, so that he could get a little bit of reprieve.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the guys in particular. I mean, when you play that position too, you're going to be spent every match.
Yeah, I mean you have to bomb up and down,
and he never comes off. So
it's crazy. But and so Franco Escobar does go to that right wing back side, and Larry goes back to right center back after not having really done so almost all year.
Right. Throwback
for real. And throwback to, I think, kind of the playoff times where it actually was pretty successful.
Right.
So, after, most of the season not playing it, I think he had the muscle memory, I think, to at least, do what was needed.
Right.
But, and, I think the really big plaudits, I think, is that PT Martinez shows up in this really, really big match.
Yes.
And he has the game winner. I mean, he had the incisive pass, and then he has the goal to win us this match. And, he came off, but he was still cheerleading from the sidelines.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just great to see.
Yeah, match-winning performance, you know what I mean? And that's what you expect from a player the level of PD Martinez. And look, he scored the game winner against Orlando back in May. He scored in the quarterfinal of the Oakland Cup as well. He scored in big moments.
Yeah.
And I mean, beyond that, the last couple of months, he's just been fantastic, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
he really has been.
Yeah.
And in terms of performances against big, matchups or opponents, I mean, Monterrey, Club America, NYCFC.
Should have had a penalty against NYCFC. Should have had a penalty against Portland. I mean,
he shows up in the big matches, if anything. So, I mean, we knew this when, at his time at River Plate. So, he's just that type of guy. And I think, really major plaudits go to him for, pretty much winning us this match.
Pretty
as
much,
well.
yeah.
But, I mean, it's some of the negatives, I think, we really, I think for me, I'm really sad that Jose Martinez is record streak of 13 straight matches scored is now over.
I know.
Unfortunately,
This goes back to May.
Yeah, this goes back to May
because he's only missed games, but he hasn't actually played in a game and not scored since then.
Right. I mean, that's an again unprecedented streak.
Right.
But I think it's still going on in MLS. So
yes. Right.
You still have that.
Yeah.
So maybe we can extend some sort of like MLS streak there.
Yeah.
But we'll have to do that math on how many MLS games that he scored in a row. But going into the post-match quotes, Frank de Boer had a lot of things to say, but I think notably is that he talked about yes, it's always nice to win trophies. That's why you start playing soccer, because you love it, but also because you want to win. Today we achieved something very beautiful for the club, for the players. I think he recognizes the importance of just being in any competition where you win trophies. So that's I mean, he set out the team to win, unlike the other side of this this matchup. So his Adrian Heath, wow. I mean, it's just not playing Darwin Quintero again.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and he also said, of course, we have a short history as Atlanta United. To win already in the third year the U.S. Open Cup is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep.
Jose Martinez, though, had a lot of gold, as he always does if he speaks.
Every single time, man.
Every single time. But, he said after the game, he forced Justin Veltius to say this, which was hilarious. But Justin just still wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
But he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna say it, because he said it in Spanish, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna say it in English.
He clearly curses in Spanish.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But he said, I am fucking happy. We are the fucking champions.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
He also mentioned, I mean, this is where he just kind of is grabbing at your heart. I mean, just...
He always goes from jokes to heartstrings. Like, how does he do that?
Yeah, I mean, he just knows. He just knows how to, But, he said, playing in the stadium is a dream. Every time I drive here, I get goosebumps. For me, playing here is the best thing that's happened to me. I have to thank the fans. I love the people here. For me, this is the best stadium in the world. For me, the best city. Every time I walk in the street, the people treat me with a lot of affection, and you can't buy that. I always say it, you can't buy that. I'm not leaving here until my time is up. But the affection the people show me, this team, I don't think this city has another team. We're the only team winning, and everyone has to respect us. We're the champions here, and we need a little bit more respect. Woo! A little bit shots fired, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was before, certain things were tweeted.
Yeah. But so even then, I mean, it's almost like he's like kind of prognosticating that there's maybe some clapback. But
listen, if Joseph is a sidekick, if you told me that, I'd believe you.
Yeah, exactly. Just nothing is without a doubt with Joseph Martinez at this point. But I mean, he also went on to say, all changes are difficult, but who won today? Who's in first place due to tiebreaker? You can never underestimate the champion. Never. Strong words.
Yep.
And
winner's mentality.
Exactly. Love that. But and he also mentioned like the form that we had earlier in the season. We had a bad start, but we're in first place. I think we're in the more difficult conference because in the other with 70 points, LAFC already qualified for the playoffs, and the other teams have 20. Now it's not exactly accurate, but still it's.
Actually, because most of the, all of the other Western Conference teams are not, do not have as many points as Atlanta or Philadelphia or New York for that matter. So I kind of agree.
So he's kind of calling them paper tigers a little bit, I think. And well, that's okay. I mean, but I just hope whoever comes out of the West, though, that if we are in the MLS Cup final, that we don't take them lightly either. So, but I don't think we would, but just in case. But and then so also. Jillian Gressel also talked about this and that just playing down a man for that long. Said it's tough. I haven't really felt fresh in the last month, but this definitely feels good. My legs actually feel good right now. It obviously feels good to win trophies. I mean, it's just, I mean,
I think he probably is not feeling his legs because he was drinking that champagne, but...
Yeah, exactly. There's some things that heal all type of fatigue and wounds, and I think it's winning trophies.
Yeah.
That's, at the end of the day, going to heal a lot of things.
Right.
But let's get into some of the celebration highlights, and there were many. But, I mean, yeah, before we get into some of the really awesome things that Joseph Martinez was doing, Eric Rometty was having a ball.
Yeah, I've never seen. I don't remember my slip and slide being like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and yeah, I don't think it probably involved beer when you were a kid either, but
probably not.
yeah, unless you were doing that as an adult, which I'm not gonna judge you because
not that I remember, but I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah. And you definitely didn't do it in a locker room indoors, probably. So yeah.
No.
But,
not after winning a trophy.
Yeah, and at one point you started doing it where like the players kind of did a tower where like a whole bunch of the people had their legs up, and he like slid through it like Big Lebowski style, and so that was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was probably already gone. He was drunk, man. But but he also. And I think, yeah, he wasn't drunk. This is just the type of guy he is, I think. But,
I think tipsy, maybe.
Yeah, tipsy a little bit. But yeah, they already broke the cup pretty much like 30 minutes in. I think in the walkway back into the locker room.
I heard the thing's heavy.
Yeah, the thing was heavy too. I think because of the engraving thing on the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was broken on the hallway into the locker room, and I think there were some like fan videos of them basically trying to like put it together essentially. And it's just like, wow, like you guys have had it for like minutes. But
we've had like our history with trophies, man. We take MLS Cup to Magic City. We break the Open Cup.
We're maybe a little irresponsible with it, but it just makes for a better story afterwards. But yeah, Rometty also like he pulled off the top of the cup. And he made it
like an umbrella?
Yeah, like a makeshift umbrella to kind of shield himself or maybe celebrate from the champagne that everybody was just spewing out.
Right.
But I mean, that was amazing to see. And yeah, I mean, so Joseph Martinez.
Oh, the pose.
God.
Wow.
Best pose he's ever made.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I mean, he's made so many.
Yeah.
What about that for a goal celebration?
I mean, he'd have to like climb onto somebody like that. And that's just probably a little difficult. But but either way, I mean, yeah, Joseph Martinez. I mean, he's a legend at celebrating. I mean, Jesus Christ.
He's a legend at everything.
Yeah. I mean, what also happened? I mean, that Instagram live that Joseph had, 40 minutes. 40 minutes. It's also on our channel if you want to watch the entire thing. There were some taints that you saw. It's not safe for work and also not safe for kids. So if you're a kid, what are you doing? Don't watch that.
Please.
Don't get us in trouble. But yeah, and so yeah, we put it up for you guys. All right, so don't get us in trouble. But so anyway, though, like one of the big kind of highlights for me was him just getting really lit off of Bud Light. Of all things.
Wait, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yeah, totally right. But in this day and age of craft beer and all that type of stuff, I mean, they probably don't drink a whole lot, and so that's probably what it was, where it's just like 1 or 2 beers.
I would also argue for a party. It was my birthday, by the way. Sunday, I had Bud Light over at the crib. So I mean,
I know.
If you're trying to get drunk.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're trying to get drunk, you're not probably drinking a whole, like, just drinking Bud Light. I mean, you probably drink stronger things, right? But
well, it depends on how much you drink.
This is true. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're shotgunning like 5 or 6 beers.
Right, exactly.
Which is what it probably takes to get a little tipsy from Bud Light. But anyway, this is not a beer podcast. But yeah, so yeah, the major thing was he was continuing to ask a staff member, go get the fucking beer. Like, where's the beer?
Joseph learned a new word tonight.
Yeah. Well, I think he probably knew that a long time ago, and it's just one of those things when I think if you learn a different language, you learn the curse words first, right?
True.
And so, so all night he was pretty much asking for more and more beer. This was really cool to see was Joseph and Miles Robinson going back and forth, saying who was the MVP.
Oh.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
And Miles calls him a legend, which of course. And yeah, near the end, Joseph Martinez and Darlington Nagbe, they kind of go back and forth on who. Well, actually, Joseph Martinez, he's like, this is the best player that I've played with since Miggy, and then he pulls in Darlington Nagbe, and it's just like, and just I mean, it really is. I mean, Nagbe, yeah. I mean, I think to this degree is pretty much, I mean. so unheralded.
I was thinking about this, because like Nagby missed a good bit amount of time last season, but I think if that had happened this season, we would have been royally effed. Like, he has been such a foundation for us this season, especially through the rough times.
Yeah, we would have probably needed to bring in an Emerson Hyman kind of type player a lot sooner if Nagby had been
and had him like play and hit the ground running and do everything Nagby does. Like, that's a big ask.
And I don't think Hyman is that type of player to really just, hang on to the ball like Nagby does. It's just impossible / really difficult. No one, I think very few players in the league, rather. But yeah, and so, I mean, the celebrations were a lot of fun and super great. And yeah, again, if you haven't seen the entire video in the locker room, go see it. Check it out on the channel. I'll put it up in the eye above.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised. But you almost did the voice. I was almost going to do the voice too. But anyway, let's get into the news. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, holy crap.
Wow.
In this past day or so, it just blew up with news.
Right.
But before we get into kind of the more harder news, this is kind of hard news. Atlanta United have qualified for the Champions League now because we have won the U.S. Open Cup. Fantastic news.
Yes.
And Frank de Boer did say that that is something very important, and we want to achieve every season, and now we are ready to achieve this. Besides winning the U.S. Open Cup, we love to compete to be the best team, and we showed already in the Campeones Cup, and now we want to do it from the start in the CONCACAF Champions League. It's good for Atlanta United, it's good for MLS, and we want to be prepared. We already had the experience this year, so hopefully we can do better next season. And hopefully that is what the case is that they've learned those lessons, and also, there's the bit of acclimation period that they don't have to worry about.
Right.
So
I mean, like, it could be different next season. MLS could start sooner, so we might have a few league matches under our belt before we start Champions League.
Different CBA, maybe.
Right. And also it's this, though. I mean, like, in those 3 games that we played versus Liga MX teams, Atlanta United weren't exactly played off the pitch.
No, they weren't. Exactly.
Even the 3-0 was 1-0 after 80 minutes in Monterrey. Like, that... Losing 3-0 at Monterrey could happen to a Liga MX team.
For sure. Exactly.
So I'm excited to be back in Champions League.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on from that, in 3 years of existence, Atlanta United has more trophies than Colorado Rapids, the Revolution, Timbers, RSL, Whitecaps, NYCFC, and of course, Orlando City.
Of course. Why would you even mention them in this? No, but like I was surprised that Timbers and RSL were on there. Those are long-term kind of successful franchises.
Yeah. Well, I mean, besides Timbers, but and we have just as many trophies as FC Dallas, the Dynamo, New York Red Bulls, RBNY always trips me up.
Yeah.
And then Earthquakes. And that's according to Nico Cantor's tweet. And I mean, that's pretty damn good stuff already from a 3-year-old team. Or not even 3-year-old.
Right.
But, and
we're also, not done.
Yeah, we're not done. But Atlanta United also are the first club to hold the MLS Cup and win the U.S. Open Cup. That's
I mean,
rarefied air.
Yeah. It says it. That says it. That speaks for itself.
Exactly. And... after that match, after the U.S. Open Cup final in the stadium, this I think was top score of pettiness level achieved. I think because essentially with the tifo, it was kind of a Blur, the band Blur, type of kind of hearkening to that, which is kind of a play essentially on the Minnesota fans and Oasis, which basically are 2 UK bands of their era that were pretty much really big and
at the same time,
kind of against each other in terms of people, they either were Oasis fans or Blur fans, maybe in that sense. So
I just want to know who's watching this channel and does not know what we're talking about.
Exactly. I think I just lost everybody because this is like early '90s stuff / mid '90s probably. But and so basically.
Shout out to you if you remember.
Yeah, no, I think there are some of the people that are probably our age or a little older too.
Right.
But and I think because with their song that they sing, the fans they sing Wonderwall.
Right.
We just very pettily, did Champagne Supernova and amazing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like so petty. I love it. I love it.
Champagne Supernova is better.
But yeah, and so with that, we definitely, I think, put another jab as we do when we win things. But also with the attendance, we set another record, 35,709. That's a new U.S. Open Cup record for a final.
Yeah, it's a record, but I think we both know in our hearts it could be more. And Tanner and Devin talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Play this match on a weekend. Don't have it behind a paywall. Give it the big match treatment that it kind of deserves. I mean, it's cool that the U.S. has a competition that's been around since this long,
Since 1914, sure.
When there weren't U.S. leagues, there was the Open Cup. That's okay, cool. But, you can't... You're asking a lot for people to take it seriously when you schedule it like this, I think.
Yeah, and I get it that, ESPN Plus is a kind of burgeoning thing, but it is one of those things where you're just cutting off your legs and you just don't have the ability to, make a bigger deal out of it.
Right.
And that's just sad.
Yeah.
But, and so moving on to the harder news that I was mentioning is that Miles Robinson and Brad Guzan have received a U.S. men's national team call-up. And Miles Robinson, that's his very first senior team call-up, so congrats to that boy, because holy crap, he has been on fire this season.
That is as big a plot as you can get, so I'm really happy for him. He deserves it. And I mean, you can see the reaction around the league, too, and American fans in general. They're excited about Miles Robinson.
Yeah, indeed. And George Bello also made the U.S. youth national team, and also Ezequiel Barco, of course, with the Argentinian youth team as well.
Yeah.
And and so I think there's another player. I'm not placing it right now.
We talked about Guzan, right?
Yes, we've talked about. Oh, Justin Miram also made the Iraqi senior team as well.
Of course. I mean, he's been in great form too, so exactly. He should be.
Yeah, and I think he's kind of a staple for their setup anyway.
Right.
But and so also. With maybe a few more home matches, and this is per Mike Conti tweet, that our home attendance is already at 852,434, and so we're already very close to the million mark already.
Yeah.
And I fully probably expect that we probably will reach a million, pretty soon, I think.
I think so.
But and so also from a Doug Roberson tweet is that there are more than 2,000 registered professional soccer clubs in the world, and Atlanta United has the 17th largest average attendance in the 2018 and 19 season. Wow. I mean, we keep talking about this year after year, but it doesn't really get any less amazing. The standard has not dropped. Right. It's incredible. And moving on from that, a report from The Athletic from Paul Tenorio says that Darlington Nagbe has turned down U.S. men's national team call-ups in the recent years.
Yeah.
And
so including the for the Gold Cup and the upcoming international break. Apparently he was phoned and he turned it down. Charles Bain, I believe you say his name.
Yeah, Charles Baum. Yeah.
Baum. Yeah. He reports that that sources close to Nagbe say that it's because he wants to spend time with his family and stay with the team. But that athletic report also says that in previous years, Nagbe has turned down.
Right. So a little bit conflicting, but either way, it seems like he has been turning them down in that sense, maybe. So interesting, nonetheless. And last bit of news is that MLS, they announced the MLS Cup playoff schedule, and which the MLS Cup final is going to be played on November 10th.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be way sooner. Last year, for context, it ended on December 9th.
Right.
So it's a full month like we've known in pretty much this whole entire season.
Yeah.
But, the official date, it's just going to be, it's going to be a flurry of games.
And so we knew there was going to be 2 weeks between the end of the regular season and the beginning of the playoffs, so that's now confirmed. And so, you got the first weekend, you got a couple midweek fixtures in there as well, and then, as you mentioned, the final on November 11th, which is a Sunday.
And so if we should advance, then, we'll have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
But that does it for the news, and let's get into the buy or sell segment, and simply... we offer up a topic and we say if we buy or sell it. So first topic is MLS is making a mistake by having a midweek playoff match, or having midweek playoff matches in general.
I sell with a caveat. Like,
Oh.
I'm learning. Um, no, I sell because, so like I mentioned, there's already a 2-week break. That first round is not going to involve the 1 seed for either team, and so they would have actually more than 2 weeks off, and then it becomes a case of how long should that team be off before it's counterproductive, before they get rusty. So they enter the fixtures in that midweek round, whereas if you play on that first weekend, you do have to turn around and play in 3 or 4 days, but I think that's a fair advantage. I think for the 1 team, it gives you incentive to finish first, and
Yeah.
and also I think it's gonna be baseball playoffs around that time probably,
Yeah, a little bit.
and you got college football, NFL. It's probably a case of MLS not wanting to compete with big games on the weekend, and so midweek, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, maybe it's a little more open. So I get it. The
not
caveat,
gonna help attendance, so yeah.
that's the caveat. Is that the attendance? It's gonna be a struggle, especially for certain teams. I think like Atlanta fans would definitely show out. Other teams, I can't really say.
Yeah.
So, but I understand. I think right now it makes sense. Going forward, though, as MLS grows, as the product gets better, hopefully MLS would be, I guess, confident enough to put its product up against the other major leagues in this country.
Yeah, I mean, I also sell as well for very similar reasons, but it is that schedule, though, yes, does make it very, very tough, and in some parts it is a mistake because, that on a Tuesday, and then if you're playing kind of they're not in the playoffs or probably going to make the playoffs, but if it's a Chicago, there's a little bit of a time difference, and so it's going to be even later.
Yeah.
And then just how many people are actually going to be able to watch it? It's going to be difficult, and so that's where it's just, I mean, do you continue and persist with this? I think you have to at the moment, just because of what they're trying to achieve, which is pretty much accelerate it. And get it where there's not the international break.
Right.
So that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they're not making a mistake because that's what their aim is. But at the end of the day, could they do it better? Yes. So next topic is that Darlington Nagbe should accept a U.S. men's national team call-up. Buy or sell?
I buy it actually, and let's take at face value that yes, he wants to stay with the team and his family right now, which really appreciate that, thank you. But I mean, I think that U.S. fans, particularly those who watch Darlington Nagbe week in week out, feel that he can contribute to the program still. And I totally agree. I think he'd be perfect in Beerhalter's system. I also think he'd be a good mentor for a Tyler Adams or Paxton Pomykal, whoever, those young midfielders coming up. And I would love to see those guys on the field together as well. And I still think at 29, he still has something to offer. It's just, look, if I gotta watch a U.S. man and watch Michael Bradley, then damn it, I want to see Nagbe too.
Okay. For me, I mean, should he accept a U.S. men's national team call-up? I sell that he should accept one, because basically it's this. I mean, he is 29, and that is where you're starting to get on the kind of more end of your career, and especially for U.S. men's or just any national team, really. That's where you start to see where maybe your place in a national team setup is maybe starting to dwindle, and I think you probably saw the writing on the wall a little bit before that they were going with the youth a little bit more, and plus because of missing the World Cup and all that type of stuff, that his place in there, they're looking to figure out what will work for future tournaments. And for him also, I mean, he was injured all last season, like we know, and this season, he's trying to get back into the norm, and if he's being dragged in and out with U.S. men's national duty, that type of thing can really disrupt, the continuity that you're trying to achieve. And I mean, I think we can all agree that Darlington Nagbe has had a hell of a season, and he's locked down our midfield essentially. He wants that kind of comfort of, just kind of, laser focus pretty much. He just goes home, hangs out with his family. He goes to the pitch and balls out, and that's all he's got to worry about. And I mean, and it's also that I think, the Berhalter thing. Maybe there's a little bit of kind of differing ideas maybe as well. So I think for me, it's just, if he doesn't want to concern himself with it, he can deny as many of them as he wants if that's really what he's doing. So, but that does it for buy and sell and gets us to the mailbag. You guys send in these questions through IG story. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. First question comes from Sam Holloman 7. If we keep the team we have at the moment, do you think we can win the Champions League?
Oh man, you're in my head. Absolutely, I do think we can. I think yes, if we can return this team, right? Well, I mean Barco, I mean Petey, I mean De Boer, all of them. Yeah, absolutely. Because like we just talked about, they weren't played off the pitch by any Liga Meki team. And so they had the one result go against them. But yeah, I think with a little more experience, absolutely, I think they can win it. Yes.
Okay. I think we're capable with the team that we have at the moment. The question is if we're actually playing them at this moment. And that's the problem, is because if we're playing it in the kind of beginning of the season, we're still getting our match fitness. We're still, and hopefully, we do have a match fit Franco Escobar and that type of thing. And right now he's not. And so at this moment, it's tough.
Yeah.
Like it would be, I think, incredibly difficult still. But I still back our boys. But it's just, I think we can win it. But would we win it? It's just tough. Right now,
it'd be interesting though, right? Because if we return the same team, this would be the first season in a while that we're not bringing in a DP, like a major player who has to like find his role into the team.
Yeah, if it were. If Barco or PT are not sold.
That's what I'm saying. Like if we return this team, there would be no adjustment period for any major pieces in theory. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe the start of the season would go better.
Yeah. Well, at least DP wise, but maybe if some TAM players, who knows, man? Who knows?
Maybe we get some more money, CBA, all that.
Yeah. But next question comes from it's Angel 10, but it's got a whole lot of numbers and periods in there. But when we beat the Red Bulls, didn't we get a trophy? So shouldn't it be 4 trophies? No, I mean, unfortunately not. It's just unfortunately, it's like Eastern Conference final trophy is not really a revered trophy in the league for MLS. It's one of those, like, it's nice to have as something in your trophy case, but is it determined as you won the treble if you won MLS Cup, Eastern Conference, final, and U.S. Open Cup. Right. Like, it's just not the case.
Yeah, or if you around MLS, especially with rivalry week, you saw like the Rocky Mountain Cup and the Atlantic Cup and
exactly.
All that, and like Cascadia Cup. It's like, do we want to count those?
Yeah, it's just not really. I mean, even Campeones Cup has been frowned upon by people, but this is 2 continental champions essentially.
I think it's how that match was played and how Club America approached it. That's what makes it such a worthwhile achievement. Right, and it's a super young type of trophy, but a lot of other people have likened it to a Super Cup as well. Right. Sure. I think it's one of those in betweeners right now at the moment. It's not quite developed enough, but it is. I think I mean, if any of the teams in the league, you polled them and said, do you want to win Campeones Cup? Yeah, you want to win trophies. Yeah. And that's a continental trophy in that sense. So, next question comes from Evan Hustle. Are we better now than 2018 under Tata? No, I can't say that yet. But what I will say is this: I think 2020 has the potential to outpace 2018 and maybe set some new benchmarks. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see who's on the roster that season. Yeah. But I think next season could be huge. I think that De Boer has done really well. Understanding what the players want and how to play them. And I just think going into next season with that already, with that knowledge in tow, they'll be a lot better prepared, and you can really put down a campaign from start to finish. Are we better now? I mean, this is the thing. It's like MLS Cup is a really, really it's the trophy that you want to win if you're an MLS team. U.S. Open Cup is probably the 3rd trophy that's in terms of those tiers, and so. We were really pushing for Supporters Shield last season as well, We're probably not going to finish close to, like, we're not going to finish on 69 points or whatever.
Yeah, and so there is that. I think we're not as good, but technically we have won more trophies. And I think that's a little bit of the continuity that we eventually took advantage of in this time period. But
I mean, think about it. Like a second year Miguel Almiron, for example, versus a first year PD Martinez. You know what I mean? It's different right now.
Right, and I think Tata was really smart and keen to change up the tactics in the playoffs, and so we've yet to see, in the kind of ultimate trophy for MLS teams, what Frank de Boer can do.
I will say in that regard, like, I think it's promising what, I think de Boer has shown some promise in terms of, like, for the postseason. The fact that, we have already won a trophy, a knockout tournament. So,
For cup finals,
right.
Postseason. But so last question comes from Keaton Thomas, 61. As we turn towards MLS Cup, which area of concern should we focus on improving the most?
I would say depth for our wingbacks because like Gressel and Miram cannot be expected to play every match. And I mean, like, I still think Bello has a place in this team. Maybe not a starting role, but I think he definitely will see some minutes. And
you have Dion Pereira on left wingback as well,
right,
who has done a job. I mean, he's been solid. It's just kind of the end product is maybe a little lacking as of now.
But no, solid, like you said. And then, it'd be interesting to see, when Escobar comes back, does he go back to center back? Does he play some wing back as well? I mean, we've seen him play right wing back, especially in the postseason. Yeah. So,
It's, I know, that's going to be tough. I mean, because right center back or, like who sits? Basically, we have 4 really good center backs, essentially.
Yeah.
It's tough, really, really tough. And that's not even counting very solid center back in Michael Parkhurst as well.
Right, who's gotten virtually no playing time in a couple months now?
Yeah, exactly. But it's his leadership is still there, and it's apparent, and he's still leading by example. But for me, I think, let's see. I mean, it is tough. Like, we are very rounding into form a little bit. I think it is, for me, the forward line a little bit. Okay. I think I need to see Tito round into form as well, and getting back into what we know he can do. And I think, Brandon Vasquez getting back into match fitness as well, somehow. I think probably playing at 2 is probably...
Yeah, because he played over the weekend?
He played over the weekend with the 2s. But Joseph Martinez, you just can't... You don't want to put the burden on him every single time to put all the chances away. Yeah. And he needs a rest at some point. He's just...
PD scoring is, I think, a really good sign. And more of that, definitely. Barco, if he can start to chip in as well with some, end products in the final third.
So
all that would help. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think it's the finishing from really a lot of our forward line and a little bit of our midfielders. That's where we need to round into form so that we can be dangerous on all fronts. And really, that's how we can challenge, I think, is putting away our chances for sure. Yeah. But so that does it for the mailbag and gets us to our Wasteman of the Week. And this week, there is an AJC writer, and you may have seen his tweet, or maybe you didn't. But his name is D. Orlando Ledbetter.
Starting off bad right away.
His name is Orlando. He's got Orlando in his name, of course. But essentially, he tweeted out that it's a minor league soccer team is not going to beat out importance to an NFL team.
I just don't understand how you live and write in a city where the masses care about the soccer team, and yet you're tweeting that the masses don't care.
On the day that they win the U.S. Open Cup. It's just, there's salt levels are on just a salt mine level high.
You know why he's salty? It's because no one cares about his NFL tweets. No one cares about his podcast. Bro, his tweet about his podcast has been up for 10 hours. It does not have a single interaction.
Oh.
I take that back, because most interactions he's had today are from Atlanta fans telling him to go do one. Atlanta United fans, I mean.
Right. Yeah, he's being ratioed like crazy. It's, comments are near maybe 300 level, and then, not a ton of likes. maybe some Falcons fans that are kind of maybe backing up the writer that they read. But either way,
maybe his bosses at the AJC were like, hey man, you have no engagements. I don't know. Why don't you kick some shit up with some soccer fans?
Yeah, it very well could be that. But either way, you have rustled the wrong fan base, and for that you can do one. The Orlando Ledbetter. Nice. But yeah, so moving on from that, we get into the match preview, and it's a 6-pointer over the weekend. It's Philadelphia Union, and it's at Talon Energy Stadium on Saturday, 7:30. It's on ESPN, I think.
No, it's local.
Is it local?
Yeah,
okay.
so, yeah, it's on ESPN Plus, but it's like local channels.
Okay.
Kevin Egan.
Hey. But we love that guy. But yeah, so their form recently has been pretty decent. They've only lost 2 in their last 6, and we've only lost 1 in our last 6 in MLS. Yeah. So we're both, flying pretty high, I think. They're second in the East, but only by 1 goal difference and a few other things.
Yeah,
but
I think wins takes the precedent.
Wins.
Yeah,
yes.
we have 1 more win than Philadelphia did.
Indeed. And so, yeah, their last match, they defeated DC United at home 3-1, in which I think DC United maybe are just imploding at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, like a couple weeks ago, they beat DC United at Audi Field 5-1.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
exactly. They kind of have their number a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think also it shows that Union, we talked about business end of the season. I think Union might be rounding into form as well.
Yeah, very true. And speaking of kind of having their number, we have Philadelphia Union's number. We in the first season, in our first season, 2017, we drew them 1-1, and we also beat them 2-0 on the road. In 2018, we beat them 3-1 and also 3-0. And this season, we drew them 2-2, which was a little bit tighter this season. I think it was definitely, we played the diamond to counteract their diamond, which didn't work at all.
Let's never speak of that again.
But yeah, they're that type of team that really likes to attack down the wings. They create a lot of chances through their individual skill, and they're pretty decent at finishing their scoring chances. And yeah, I mean, from set pieces, pretty deadly as well. And they like to steal the ball from the opposition. They are good at making some errors from the players. So from the opposition. So in terms of where we can get at them, I think they're not that good from defending from attack from the wings. They from long shots, not too great. So in terms of that, I think if PT Martinez can pop one off from distance and keep it on target, then by all means,
have
at it. But and then they're also pretty bad at avoiding being offside. And so
play that high line, man.
Play that high line and really, just try to discombobulate what they're trying to achieve. But in terms of their kind of season stats, I mean, they have actually scored a ton of goals. Actually, 51 goals, and they've unfortunately conceded quite a few as well, with 41. I mean, they're kind of, I mean, they score a lot of goals, ship a lot of goals.
I mean, they play, you know what I mean? They come out to play. They're aggressive, they believe in their style. Even though they don't have a whole lot of stars, they have some good players, and they believe in their team brand, which is very good.
No, I think they have a quite decent depth. Jim Curtin just has them, just playing some unprecedented ball for, I think, Philadelphia Union.
I mean, like, this season in general is unprecedented. To be this far into the season in first, or at least competing for first place, it's a different season for the Union. And I think I even saw a Union, I want to say, podcaster who suggested that this is the biggest regular season match in Union history.
Wow!
Inviting the defending champions a chance to solidify sort of first place this late in the season. I mean, I understand what he's coming from.
No, it makes sense. But getting into some of the players to watch from them, Kasper Zerbilko. This is a tough one. Zerbilko? There we go. He's got 12 goals this season already, and Marco Fabian, he's got 6, and Ilsinho has 5. I mean, all really not only creative players, but danger men for them as well. Yeah, in terms of their injuries and unavailable players, Alejandro Bedoya is actually out with yellow card accumulation.
That's a big one. That's a big one. He's
Yeah.
usually a captain. He usually sits in the pivot next to Madunanin, I believe. So yeah, I mean, like that's a key loss for them.
Yeah, and so that maybe should help our case a little bit. Who knows?
Hopefully,
but
hopefully.
For us, the only person that we really, I think, at this point have out is Breck Shea. And so, I think we're rounding into fitness as well. That's a good sign. But getting into some match facts, there have been 2.5 goals scored in 8 of Philadelphia's last 10 games. It's quite a few goals.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've won at least 6 of our last 7 matches in MLS.
Atlanta United have kept a clean sheet in 5 of their last 7 matches.
Right.
Shout out to Guzan. Shout out to the back line. Philadelphia have scored at least 2 goals in their last 5 home matches. I mean, yeah, like we talked about, there's lots of goals in their matches. As we know, there's lots of goals in our matches as well.
Right, indeed. So some keys to the game for me, I think, is that can we keep our energy levels high? Because it has been tough. I mean, again, we want to come out and press, but will we become a little bit fatigued like we were against Minnesota United? I mean, it could be the case. How much rotation will occur after playing with 10 men on Tuesday for quite a bit of time?
Right.
And also, I mean, it's gonna be a strong test against this really very decent side, potent side.
Yeah.
Like we need to play with a smart. We need to play smart with a high line, and we need to really gain a foothold and just create some good chances from our possession.
I mean, even though Atlanta hasn't beaten Union before, Union have played,
Yeah, Philly hasn't beat us.
Right, yeah. But Union have played Atlanta tough, actually.
They have been. It has been closer than the scorelines have been seen, but. And also I think we need to attack with our width. So Justin Meram and Julian Gressel, if they do start, that's where we can, I think, do our damage, I think. But that gets us to our predicted starting 11. So let's get in through the lines together.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we got Guzan in the sticks again. Of course.
Can't take him out at any point, I don't think, at this point. But I think. For me, we all the same. We have the same
backline. LGP, Robinson, Pogba. It's been working well. I don't think any of them bench. They don't get rotated, to answer your earlier question.
Right, and that's the tough part is where Frank de Boer has mentioned like he's probably going to persist until like the form wears off, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
But.
Because I remember watching Pogba specifically last night, and he was doing the, what I mean? Like he's definitely, and I understand he's played a lot of matches in a row. Yeah,
and so it could be where LGP goes on to the left side, and you have Franco Escobar over on the right center back side. Very well could see that. I don't think that though for wingbacks that we'll see anything different. I think Gressel and Meram still persist.
Yeah. I have a little bit different. I have Escobar coming in because he did play versus Minnesota. He got about 20 minutes. I think. Yeah, he was in the 18 over the weekend, I believe, and so he can play right wing back, and Gressel is just so tired, man.
Yeah, but I think he might spell him. I think coming in if he doesn't start, just kind of like he did in this match, and so he can kind of gain his legs back because he was icing his hammies. I just fear that it might just be too much action for him. Especially as he's wont to do, he just loves to bomb up and down.
Yeah,
it's just it's gonna be a lot on his legs for sure.
Right.
But in the midfield, we have it exactly the same.
Yeah, Barco playing sort of that 8-10 role, however you want to call it, but behind the strikers. Yeah, and then we got PD and Joseph up top.
Well, in the midfield, we have Rometty and Nagy.
Oh, sure. I thought we did that already.
No, all good. Yeah. But I think Larry could kind of feature, but I think. In this, I mean, it's just one of those. It's such a big matchup.
It's such a big match. Rometty's gotten rest recently, and I just think Nagby's near undroppable at this point, unfortunately. So
I mean, you don't want to drop him, but it's just like, should he get a rest or so.
It's two though, because you got the international break coming out after this match. So I think it's one more. Okay, let's go hard for this and then get 2 weeks off.
Exactly. And so speaking on that, you said Barco and PT and Joseph up top gave it away. No, it's all good. But essentially though, I think pretty much an unchanged 11.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, maybe a slight rotation
for Escobar.
Slight rotation. Either way though, I think we expect pretty much no surprises. You're just trying to. It's the best 11. It's the favorite 11 for the most part. You're just trying to.
In terms of formation and whatnot, but in terms of the way we're gonna set up, I think it's also. They do like to play with possession, and so I think early on we will need to press them to really force some errors. And pop off a shot from distance if we can, and attack from the wings as much as possible.
Maybe it's a case where they come out on the front foot in the first half and then sort of drop their lines deeper as the match goes on, as they get more tired. I mean, I think that's kind of what we saw versus Minnesota as well. But
it's difficult to do that back to back in the same week.
It is. It is.
We shall see. And in terms of that, the score prediction, what do you got?
I'm confident. I think that they can go in there. I think the way Union play, it's the type of game that Atlanta want to play in. And I just think that the difference makers for us, Joseph, PD, they'll step up. And PD in particular has been fantastic. And another big match, I think, he'll be up for it. I actually don't think he's that tired. So, I'm going to say 3-1 win on the road in Philly.
I love that, but unfortunately for me, I actually have it as a 3-2 loss. I know it's shocking, but it's just one of those. It's on the road. Previously, we played teams on the road that were, I think, a lot lesser of a team than Philadelphia Union for one.
Orlando.
And so you have that, and you also have how many goals have been scored recently at home for them. It's a lot, and so I don't think it's going to be a 0-0. But of course, as I say this, commentators curse. It's going to be a 0-0 or something like that, right? But I think it's a 3-2 loss. It's just unfortunate. I think because our fatigue levels, they're just kind of. It's apparent, it would be a shame to kind of go out this way before the international break.
Sure.
But I'm hoping, a way different scoreline. My head is just where this is right now.
Go with your heart, AJ.
My heart says it's going to probably be a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
But, So, all in all, anyway, let's open Mark's scoreline.
Yes.
And, but that does it for the match preview and gets us to our question of the day.
So with all the talk of hashtag build a statue, and Joseph's recent comments about Atlanta sports, him calling Atlanta home, what do you think should be engraved on that statue when he gets it? Leave us a comment, tweet at us, let us know.
Yeah, but guys, that's it for us today. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video because it really does help us a lot, and smash that like button. And for Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.